Okay, Trump just announced a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, why did he do that? Well, I know a lot of people want to go straight to, well, it's to save face. He couldn't get them to open it, so he's going to say, well, I'm closing it. But I think it's deeper than that. Let me explain. So, as we all know, last week, Iran agreed to a brief ceasefire. When they were stating over and over and over again, they did not want a ceasefire with the US or Israel. Now, why did they agree? Well, the main reason is because Trump agreed to their 10-point plan, at least initially. But there's a second reason, almost as big, that isn't discussed as much. And that reason is China. Now, China is Iran's biggest material supporter throughout this war, providing Iran with intelligence, humanitarian aid, and may or may not be providing military aid as well. They also give diplomatic support to Iran in the UN and just are all around Iran's biggest ally and asset. You see, on Tuesday night, when Iran agreed to the ceasefire, yes, the main reason was that Trump agreed to their 10-point plan, but the other big reason was that China really encouraged them to enter negotiations and even said that they will be their guarantor in the UN for those negotiations as well. Now, why would China do that? Because unlike the United States, most of China's oil comes from the Middle East. And remember, before that ceasefire, Trump and Iran were both threatening to just blow up each other's electrical stations and oil infrastructure. That would have destroyed 1/3 of the world's oil supply and almost all the oil supply in the Middle East. Now, while this would hurt the entire world, this would have hurt China far more than it would have hurt the United States, at least in the short term. And so while China didn't force Iran into ceasefire negotiations, they strongly encouraged it. That's also why you saw Iran engage in these ceasefire negotiations over the weekend, even though the United States and Israel literally went back on their word and broke the ceasefire in Lebanon and was making it very obvious that they weren't getting into these negotiations in good faith. They were still with the negotiations because their biggest ally, China, in the background was saying, just give it a chance. Let's see what happens. Now, back to Trump and him blockading the Strait of Hormuz. Throughout this war, even though the Strait of Hormuz was closed by Iran, Iran was still shipping their own oil out and selling it to China, and China was still getting their oil. And Trump was letting this happen and not shooting at Iran oil tankers because he wanted to keep the price of oil down himself. That way, the stock market still looked good. But now this is a whole new gamble for him. Knowing that he can't force the strait open militarily, he decided to make China hurt enough that they will force Iran into a ceasefire and to open the strait. And not militarily, but diplomatically. Now, like I said before, this is a huge gamble because this is probably going to cause the stock market and the global economy to crater and panic. But this will also cause China maybe to panic. And China may force Iran to sue for peace and opening the Strait of Hormuz and being more flexible in their demands. Now, that doesn't guarantee that China is going to do this. This is purely just a Trump gamble. China still has oil reserves themselves. They may say, well, let's just tighten our belt, keep helping Iran, and eventually the United States will back off. Only time will tell how this is going to go. But like I said, I don't think this was Trump trying to save face. I think this is a whole new strategy, a whole new gamble, one that I didn't see coming.